Welcome back to This Week in History, the one where the streets of Boston run brown with molasses. And we answer the question, how did the Great Molasses Flood lead to a pivotal class action lawsuit in America? So the year was 1919, and on the north end of Boston was a 50-foot tall tank of molasses. Sweet, sassy molasses. It was owned by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company. From molasses, you can get alcohol. And that's what they were doing on the north end of Boston. Inside that 50-foot tank sat more than 2 million gallons of molasses. And that can cover a whole lot of pancakes. Just ask Mrs. Butterworth. This week in 1919, that gigantic tank exploded and sent out a tidal wave of molasses into the streets of Boston. The wave was reportedly 40 feet high and had speeds of up to 35 miles per hour as it coursed through the streets of Boston. All joking aside, it wasn't just a sticky mess, it was actually a complete disaster. The wave toppled buildings, destroyed cars, and trapped people. Tragically, 21 people died in the molasses wave, some of them suffocated in the treacle, and 150 people total were injured. And for decades, that section of the north end of Boston actually smelled like molasses. But the disaster distilled something else, legal precedents. The case was called Dorr v. the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, and it was filed on behalf of 119 victims and families. Now, it was a long, drawn-out court battle that spanned several years, but eventually lawyers were able to prove that the molasses flood happened because the tank holding the molasses was quickly and poorly built, and the company was ordered to pay the victims around $628,000 in total, which is roughly about $9 million today. And afterwards, the United States government stepped in, and their whole idea was to create a basis for building and construction codes that would prevent disasters like this from ever happening again. To this day, the United States has truly stuck to that goal. Get it?